Hello everyone, welcome back to Battlefield 2042. In this video, I want to talk to you about the best thing that we have seen regarding the game, from my opinion, and the reason I've added rip-off to the title is because it clearly generates more views. And whether people like it or not is my job to do YouTube, so getting the views is what I need to earn my money, to make my income. And I just want to quickly clear up for those of you that were talking about, I've received hundreds of comments about this. When I mentioned rip-off in my last video, yeah, I was talking about Call of Duty features. No, I'm not a fanboy of COD. I've actually played more Battlefield than COD in at least recent years, if not over my entire lifetime. But also, when I talk rip-off, it doesn't mean game features being ripped off from other games. It means that it's a financial term. You're being ripped off spending £120 for a multiplayer-only game, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. That's not the main topic of this video, I just wanted to quickly clear it up. So now, the best thing about Battlefield 2042 is obviously going to be the gameplay. But for what reasons does that make it the best thing about the game? In my opinion, I haven't really enjoyed too much Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. I played a lot more BF5 than I did 1. I never really got into Battlefield 1, and I've heard from a lot of people that was the better one of the two. But Battlefield 5 never really tickled that Battlefield itch for me. And the reason I say that is because you just had your standard sort of World War stuff. And from Bad Company 2, BF3, BF4... I even enjoyed Hardline, in the major minority for that one. But I enjoyed Battlefield Hardline because, in my opinion, it was just a decent, spin-off to the franchise. But the, best portion of Battlefield for me is the modern combat, the modern warfare that you get in these games. And the crazy stuff you can do, like your jet swaps. Was it Paracel Storm? I used to put them off all the time. And that was back in BF4. Another crazy thing was the Battlefield 4 Levolution. If you played, was it Flood Zone or something like that? If you destroyed the little, dam, the little wall, it would flood the entire map and it would completely change the gameplay for the rest of that match. And that's what really stands out to me. So, when we see all this stuff and we're seeing a rocket launch, we're asking all these questions. How's that going to make the gameplay differ in that current match? When we also see the massive tornado and the fact that you can jump in there with your wingsuit, fly around, it's going to make for some crazy clips that people will show on YouTube. It's probably going to be a lot of fun. I'm not saying that the game's going to be bad necessarily. I'm a little bit concerned about them showing pre-alpha gameplay, but then if they've got stuff coming up at EA Play and things like that, I'm hoping we get to see some closer to launch builds of the game, versions of the game. But it was Battlefield 4, the Levolution and stuff. Battlefield 3 felt very similar in terms of the modern sort of combat. And Battlefield 2042 looks to be pretty much just Battlefield 4, which has its downfall because they've worked on this game for a good... I'm not even going to put a time frame on it. They've just worked on it for a little while. And I feel that, I've seen it in several videos as well. A lot of people are saying, oh, this just looks like another map from a different game. They might even be saying it in a positive way. But I see that as both a negative and a positive. It's going to be a positive for the players that love those maps. They're used to them. It's kind of bringing back that memory, that nostalgic sort of feeling. And then it's got its downfall because you think, well, they could have created so much more, much more unique environments, better sort of things. And these maps are going to be huge. If you're playing on next gen or PC, the maps will be massive. If you're playing on the older generation, the Xbox One, the PS4, then you're going to have a much smaller sort of scale to your maps. They've downsized them because of the player count as well. I think it's due to purely just the hardware limitations and how there's a lot of restrictions due to the hardware being so old. So in my opinion, I wouldn't pick this up if you're on an Xbox One or a PS4, and I know how hard it is to get hold of a Series X, a Series S, or even the PS5. But honestly, if you don't have a next gen or a PC, I would just steer clear of this game. And that's not out of the game going to be bad or anything, but you're not going to have anywhere near as good of a time because it's much smaller scales of warfare. I'm a little bit concerned about the EA servers and how they're going to hold up for the game. And also, if the lobbies aren't filled up, they're going to replace like human players with AI. So there's going to be bots in the matches to make sure that there is typically 128 players in a game. And I was going to be really negative about that and think, oh, well, what's the point? If there's only 20 people playing, you've got 108 bots. But then I've been playing quite a bit of Enlisted recently, and it's fun. Even if you're killing AI, it's just the feeling of picking up a weapon, shooting an enemy, getting a nice kill. Whether you've got a rifle, a sniper, an AR, like a marksman rifle, something like a Kar 98. Or like a Mosin, or just something like that. Like what some games, like, because obviously in some games a Kar 98's a sniper, in others it's a rifle. I mean, like your semi-autos instead of your bolt actions. So just to pick up a weapon and just pop an AI in the head, because they're obviously going to be dumb, they're not going to be anywhere near as skillful as a real player. So if they're just standing there in stupid areas, you can get yourself some really nice kills. And at the end of the day, it takes away from everyone being incredibly competitive with their kill-death ratio. That's one of the things that's always annoyed me about Call of Duty, and that is the fact that some groups will not let you play. Like if you go into a lobby and there's like a 5-player clan, and they look at your combat record, they see your KDs below like 1.75, or you've got to be like a 2.5 esports ready gamer, they're just all going to leave. They won't play with certain players. So having the AI in there, Battlefield obviously never focusing on kill-death ratio and just complete like mayhem, with the bots added in, I think it's going to be good because it's going to fill up more empty servers. So all we've got to do is hope and pray that we get some good looking, like I say good looking, the gameplay did look pretty cool. I'm hoping we get a more polished sort of later on build than pre-alpha when it comes to EA Play and stuff. And then hopefully we get some testing and stuff from the community, and then the game will launch October 15th, I believe it is, if you get the bigger editions, October 22nd if you get the standard. So yeah, at the end of the day, the gameplay looks good. It's the best thing about the game, which is pretty obvious, but I thought I'd title it that and just go into some depth with it and explain my opinion. And then also, the game is a rip-off, whether you like the idea of it being a rip-off or not, whether you're EA and DICE's biggest fanboy, you can't say that it's not a rip-off. They are adding in the most stupid features and stuff and charging a ridiculous amount of money for this game. And especially if this game does come out and the servers aren't working properly, there are bugs left, right and centre, the content doesn't feel anywhere near enough, because 7 maps, yes, they're massive scale, they're large scale maps. That might seem okay because of the size of the maps, but you've got to think, 7 maps for a fully released game. Yes, it's in a live service model, but it's still a full release. And that is pretty much all they're going to have, with a few different game modes for like a £70 game. And that ranges from 70 up to the biggest edition, I'm pretty sure, is £120. So whether players like hearing that or not, that's just the truth. It is a rip-off in terms of its financial side of things and how much it's going to cost the consumer. But in terms of the gameplay, it does look pretty good. We've got to hope that it holds out. The servers are working. The gameplay is as good as it looks, because the choppers, the rendezvous, all that sort of stuff does look fun. So it looks like you will have fun. With the AI filling up the servers, there's going to be combat all the time. So let's just hope it is a good release. And what we're going to do on that note is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.